Microphone activated.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our coverage of the MDL LAN. My name's ODPixel. I'm joined by Draskyl, and we're here now for Game 2, Evil Geniuses versus OG. And, well, Andy, Game 1, it was a little bit of a mess for EG. Can they bring it back in Game 2?
I would think so. I mean, I still think that EG's plan and lineup wasn't bad. It's just that they deviated, I think, a little bit too far from the laning phase and just trying to do too much, instead of just playing it a bit more slow and then getting the core items that you need and then running around the map like madmen and trying to find kills. I think that's really what hurt them the most. But we are moving on to game number 2. We can see OG's hero prioritization. They had first pick, or wait, did they have first pick in the first game? Because EG has first pick now, which leads me to believe that they should have had first pick in game 1.
I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
But either way, they ban OD. So
yeah, they ban OD. You don't want OD. Yeah.
They value this hero super highly because they picked it for Ana. He destroyed on it. They don't want to play against it because they don't have first pick, so they're removing it, which is understandable given the performance that he just had. So I'm curious to see if, with the OD being taken out, if EG wants to try something similar to what they did in game 1, because I feel like that was probably one of the only heroes on the side of OG that could have had as much influence as he did, barring maybe Fly, who was also everywhere and making sure that he was getting kills. So we'll find out here in a second.
Let's see what they open with. EG. Is it going to be something similar to last game or something different? It's going to be similar. They still take that IO for crit. And I mean, certainly, you know, crit, IO, it's solid. You know what I mean? I don't really think you can put that pick or blame that in game 1. You know, it's IO crit is going to be fine. Pretty much whatever game. You just got to change what you do around it. But you can always rely on just picking that up first for crit. It's just super safe.
Yeah, I feel like he didn't really get a chance to showcase how good he actually is at the hero.
No.
Primarily because they fell behind at, I would say, a very early stage. Not necessarily in terms of farm and experience, but because of what their lineup was supposed to be able to do. And it just never really got to that point. So this time around, hopefully he can have a better showing. But OG, they're going with the Kunkka King.
Oh,
this looks like an E-home opening, honestly. Like, if I was watching TI and I didn't know the names of either of these teams, I'd be like, this is E-home playing right now.
And I'm sure in these bans it'll be touched upon. There's still a Shadow Demon and a Luna in the lineup, you know, in the draft pool available. I mean, yeah, I think both teams are going to be aware of that. That's not going to get through, surely. I mean, at least the Shadow Demon.
I don't think that EG can pick Shadow Demon though.
Yeah, but what Shadow Demon IO is just too weak as a combo. Yeah,
because you need a core that can actually do something with the Shadow Demon, and I feel like most of the time you want it to be the other support, or have, like, I guess an Invoker or something if you're going to be sending it mid. So I guess maybe they could do it, but I don't feel like it's super strong. And similar to in the last game, they picked the Omni Knight IO. That does make your laning phase pretty subpar, which is why I feel like they felt forced into the situation where they had to go aggro try. Because if they didn't do that, then their supports were going to be pressuring the map a cumulative 0. They just do nothing. So yeah, I'm curious to see if he's going to deviate from that kind of pick 2 supports that have more of a mid-game timing and just say screw the laning phase, because it's kind of what they did in the first game, even though their aggro try ended up pressuring enough to be able to get, you know, Universe the farm. But we'll find out here.
I'm taking their time with this one, EG. It's an important match. You know, dropping down at this stage, losing a bit of a rocky position as you go through to, I believe you'll be playing in day 2. If you do lose today. But they're going to stick with the same old. They want that combo. The IO, the Omni Knight. I mean, to be fair, you know, we imagine it will be Crit IO and Zai Omni, but it's something that they both can play vice versa.
But I think that the big difference this time is when they pick it, because last game Omni was 3rd pick, so they moved the pick up to 2nd, which means they're going to ban Naga. Or they're going to ban something that they feel like last game was annoying. Maybe Oracle, who knows? Because I think that OG could still potentially field Oracle and it would be good. Heck, maybe they even ban them both. I don't know. But both of those heroes are really good against Omni, because Omni doesn't offer any wave clear, and Oracle can just dispel everything that you do. So it's pretty much a hard counter. And there we go.
Yeah. You just... I mean, we saw it in the first series today, you know. You don't, as a team, want to go against Naga twice. Especially if you lose to it. If you beat it, then fair enough. But, you know, especially if you're going to run the same 2 kind of IO Omni Knight, 2 heroes that can be pretty screwed by a farm Naga. Just don't let it through.
Yeah, it's one of those things where in the first game they probably thought that just the aggro try would be enough to shut it down. And if their rotations worked, I think they could have easily snowballed the game. but because the defensive plays from OG were just a little bit too strong, it allowed No Tail to get off the ground. Obviously, Ana had a standout performance, and all those things kind of coming together just made the Omni Knight feel pretty lackluster. But this time around, they're going to get rid of one of the biggest issues that he had in the last game, which was his inability to actually take fights because all the lanes were just constantly being pushed out. So now, up against a Kunkka and a Sand King, with, you know, no Naga Siren, Omni Knight seems a heck of a lot better than he did in the first game already. So we'll see how much, you know, Crit wants to prioritize maybe getting rid of the Oracle, because I feel like that hero was also really, really annoying for him. Or maybe they have a different plan here. But yeah, there goes the Storm Spirit again. We talked about the synergy in Game 1. They last banded on the side of OG when they were looking to pick Sumail's hero.
I mean, do you think that... I mean, EG, if you're EG, are you just not worried about a Shadow Demon? I mean, it's, you know, with the Kunkka SK, you know, you've got the setup. It's, you know, the ult online, it can really deal with anyone that Omni's trying to save.
It is annoying, but I think that Shadow Demon is in some ways easier to deal with than like an Oracle, for example, because the Oracle prevents damage output, saves the hero, and it doesn't, you know, make you stationary for 2.5 seconds. So it's not as much as a hard save. Okay, they're actually going to ban the SD instead.
But
so
as you said, this could mean that OG will get the Oracle.
Yeah.
Which you think, if you're OG, as you said, you would rather, you want that Oracle.
I would want Oracle over Shadow Demon personally, but I don't know how the teams actually favor the hero. And obviously, you know, EG don't want to deal with the SD. I think they're more scared of the partner hero with the Shadow Demon. That would be a little bit more scary, maybe, they think, than Oracle, just by itself. Because the combination of the heroes is what makes the Shadow Demon strong, not just the Shadow Demon.
It's exactly as you said. I mean, and you feel as well that if you asked OG in that position, would you rather you get the hands on the Shadow Demon or the Oracle? You probably would have stuck with the Oracle.
I think that Oracle is objectively weaker in this draft solely because there's no Beastmaster.
Okay.
So in the last game, you actually had the utility of being able to dispel the Roar on top of everything else in the defensive saves. So it is technically worse in this game than it was in the first, but I still think it's a really, really great choice.
Axe is coming out. I mean, is this definitely going to be a universe axe, or could we say anything like a Sumail axe? Could they switch the role, kind of the lanes around as such, or will this be a universe axe?
I think it's a bit early to call, but I would say that it's probably universe axe, depending on how OG take their last two, because we're assuming what Oracle Kunkka support almost guaranteed, Sand King's probably off lane, and then they're looking to pick up their position 1 and 2 for the last two picks. As soon as they see one of those, it will be a lot more clear what EG want to do with their lanes and who they want to put on what hero. But yeah, I would most likely say that it's going to be Universe X.
Alright, OG now. Looking still for what we'd expect to be Ana and No Tail's hero. Unless they wanted to do something like an Ana SK mid.
I think you only do that if you know for a fact that you're going to be going up against melee.
Okay, you need to know the matchup. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but so that is that more likely for Ana to be playing that rather than No Tail, do you think?
I think it's a more farm-oriented hero, so I think actually No Tail would be the one who plays it, because No Tail's kind of adopted the role. No Tail's kind of adopted the role that Miracle used to play, whereas No Tail is now the one playing the heavy farmers, and Ana's kind of taking the role that No Tail used to play, where he's playing heroes that actually do stuff. So from that perspective, I think it makes more sense. But obviously, it's interchangeable. At the last second, if you decide it's better to put Morph mid, you can just do that. And the nice thing about Morph is he's actually good at laning in both places, which is what makes it a good pick. Because right now, you see 2 melee heroes and an IO, and you're like, okay, well, whatever happens, EG are probably going to be picking their mid and core last, just like OG are doing in this draft. And you can just optimize your lanes however you see fit after you see at least one core.
I'm very interested to see what Arteezy does this game. I mean, I guess it's unlikely that we see the Arteezy PA come through again. I mean, we saw him early in a series. He did play the Slark. I mean, could an Arteezy Slark work here?
I don't like Slark or PA against Morph. Yeah, okay. Husker's a good choice. So now it's a timing game. Now we're gonna hit our timing before you, and we're just gonna straight up win the game. That's pretty much the approach that EG are taking. I thought for a second they might go back for something like an anti-mage, because I think the anti-mage is really strong against OG's lineup just in general. During the late game, you would pretty much have no way of killing it with their heroes. Like, it would just be impossible to take the hero down. Plus, aside the Sand King, their wave clears are great, But yeah, they're going to pick up the Huskar, which is obviously still a very good pick. It's just a different way of playing the game.
Yeah, and it's something as well that's a little bit different. I mean, obviously, always kind of the warning signs for a Huskar pick were always having Dazzle backing you up or Oracle backing up. I mean, this time you have an IO and an Omni instead. So
it's really good still, yeah.
It's still, yeah, you still have a lot that's going to keep you alive and in the front lines of the fights. The question is just how they finish it off. And that Huskar as well, you imagine that's going to be Sumail playing it or Arteezy? Because Sumail's more of a Huskar player, isn't he?
Well, they banned a Sumail hero, so...
Yeah, I guess they're expecting Artur to take it.
I guess technically Artur and Sumail both play Razor as well. It just depends on what EG think are going to give him the optimal lanes. But Huskar lanes well against pretty much anything that OG have right now, and that's why they also banned Viper. So with the Viper ban, I'm guessing it's Huskar mid, which most likely would lead me to believe that it's Sumail. That's my guess.
Yes, yeah, looking out for that matchup. EG now. With the final pick, it is going to be Ursa. So, yeah, looking to what the lanes be what? Huskar mid, Axe off lane, Ursa bottom. Maybe having one of the supports drift over to help Huskar in the early game.
I mean, heck, they could even do another aggro lane, like Ursa, Omni, Io.
Yeah.
And if they want to put, Axe against the Sand King, it's not a terrible matchup. Huskar, I don't know what they're going to pick against it, because I'm guessing this is going to be Anna's hero. I wouldn't actually...
Mirana.
Okay, Mirana. I like it. It's good.
You can't spell Mirana without Ana.
Oh, it is actually
He's not going to play it.
Morph.
Yeah, he's going to play Morph. Yeah. No tail Mirana. Indeed, it's going to be the play. So, in terms of the game plan here, so how have EG addressed game? What have they changed here? What are they trying to do here that's different to game one?
So, in game one, they were very lane reliant and being able to snowball off that. Whereas I think that this time around, obviously being on Radiant instead of Dire, I think it's still a bit easier to win your lanes. And having Ursa means that you'll be able to threaten Roshan from a very early stage. And that allows you to put a lot of pressure on OG to make sure that they themselves are being very active on the map and they have to make their own moves instead of OG just waiting for evil geniuses to come to them like they were in the first game. Because that's pretty much all they had to do. Just sit behind the core with a support, wait for EG to dive you, counter gank, win the game. That's how they won. This time around, EG don't necessarily have to go for that all-in type of pressure, and they're actually going to force OG to make their own moves just by virtue of being able to threaten things like Roche and have that really good early game team fight. So this time around, I actually like EG's draft more because I think that it can actually end the game super fast, before Anna is really online and ready to fight.
Is there a reason why Crit solo smoked?
He's done this before, actually.
Okay.
I think it's pretty much just... I mean, normally you would say he does it for wards, but he doesn't actually have wards.
He doesn't have any wards, yeah.
I have no idea why he smoked Owen. I'll be honest with you. I literally am clueless as to why he smoked.
Okay.
Maybe they were trying to bait bottom room? I freaking have no idea.
That was a little bit awkward. Arteezy, of course, flashing the cash there with the very nice setup. And Arteezy... Oh, what? Yeah, go pick that ward up, son. Yeah. Arteezy learning how to ward. And,
okay.
Shoots the arrow. Get a few swipes in onto S4. OG are coming down at full force. But yeah, let's have a look at the lineup. So over on the side of OG, Anna at the moment. Yeah, looks like he will actually be taking himself towards that top lane. And actually, Arteezy still in a bit of trouble. Again, these arrows from No-Tail. He's missed a couple. Doesn't look like it's going to matter. And S4, he certainly dropped Artur in the first game. And game two, looking to be a good start for him as well. Getting first blood against Arteezy.
I mean,
not
technically,
the start that they wanted, EG.
That one didn't even take 3 seconds because the game hadn't even started yet. Dropped him before the game even started.
Oh
Jesus, that is not what you want, especially getting at the Sand King. All right, so lanes. We expected Sumail to be mid. Going to be up against Mirana. I don't think Mirana has the greatest time in this matchup, but it shouldn't be awful for No-Tail either. He should be able to get some farm with Starstorm and whatnot. And it looks like they're actually going to be rotating a couple of supports towards the middle lane on the side of OG just to give him a little bit of relief, just understanding how hard this matchup actually is for the Mirana.
They've got Crit there to back him up, so it's a hard kill for OG to try and look for. And elsewhere, of course, the lanes. S4 Arteezy, that 1v1 matchup as well for the time being. Jax is going to head down there And Fly's going to head up top, make this a 2v2 duel lane for the time being, and on the safe lane Morphling, Universe on the Axe, and Zai backing him up on the Omni Knight. So, all things said and done, with that start count kind of out of way, do you like what EG's doing this game? Do you feel this game has the potential for a Huskar to just run out of control?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I don't think that OG's middle lane matchup is going to be very good against what the EG have currently. Mainly because the only hero that can kill is Creep. Like, if Sumail gets to like level 3 or 4 and I try to go on him, he's very easily going to get like, you know, counter kills and stuff like that. Whereas top lane too, if you look at the way that EG can play this, they can pressure the Morph so hard because the Morph doesn't have any like really low level wave clear. So Universe is just going to shove the wave into the tower super hard, force the Morphling to CS under his tower and try to get some pulls off. As Fly is actually going to be blocking this. This is really good support play. Normally, when you have these lanes that can push crazy hard, like Tide Hunters and Axes and stuff like that, you push, and then you pull the wave back to deny experience and get more farm on top of it. But Fly, being the support player that he is preventing them from getting that off.
Bottom lane, Jerax and S4 toying around with Arteezy. They don't have the mana to go for another Burrow Strike. Jerax has got a Torrent in him. Arteezy turning around. S4's got 5 stacks on him. He has to be careful there. One more touch from Arteezy will actually kill S4, but just managed to get himself back under the cover of the tower. He's coming back up and crit. Giving a bit of a boost here. Arteezy's going to come in, and S4, he's got no escape here. One more touch will do it, but the Torrent holding him back. Jerax with the plays. Arteezy's going to go down for the second time this game. And now Jerax and S4 force crit back. Arteezy giving up his life twice in the first couple of minutes of this game. It's not the start that EG needed for their carry.
That is a total disaster. That is like... That should have been a free kill into we lose our core for the second time. He's only got, you know, 8 CS. He's barely ahead of the Sand King. But, I mean, fortunately, they do have the Omni Knight to fall back on. You know, once Zai starts getting a couple of levels, Axe, Omni Knight, Ursa, Omni Knight, all really good pairings. Heck, Huskar, Omni Knight. They have 3 really, really good candidates for things like Repel and Purification during these engagements. So, I don't think they're as lane reliant as they were in game number 1. And I mean, even that being said,
yeah,
like, they're still farming well.
Oh,
Sumail,
yeah.
Universe, and Arteezy all have, like, in the top 4 of highest CS.
Lane, Arteezy having some fun with the torrents. I mean, this is certainly one thing about this hero, you know, torrent, what, 90 mana cost? That's not a lot, so its spammability of it is causing a lot of issues for Arteezy on this melee core. He has got Crit pretty much babysitting him now, and I think we could probably expect Crit to pretty much stay down here for a good bit of a while, making sure Arteezy can catch up and farm.
Yeah, Sand King 1v1 against most melees is going to be a nightmare. Caustic is ridiculously annoying. When you have to basically walk in to hit a creep, you can eat like a Burrow, for example, and take like 500 damage if he's got 1 or 2 Caustics out.
This is what's mid, Jerax. Let's come across. Sumail's already
playing
backing off.
Super aggressive too, though. He was like under the tower, basically CSing before he decided to back out.
And he's certainly asserting his dominance in this lane. 22-11 against the 13 for 3. He's really been bullying No-Tail right back, making it hard to go for. Torrent, it's not going to connect, and Sumail, he can just walk this off. With that helm as well. He's a bit of a brute at this stage of the game, and not a lot that OG can do to deal with him, especially with just 2 heroes. They're going to need to send a few more down if they want to try something top. Universe getting the spins off. Anna falling very, very low.
Potentially dead there. That was very, very close. But yeah, this is one thing about Morphling that's really annoying is if you're playing against a hero that can just shove the wave, you don't really have an answer to that. You basically just have to let him do what he's going to do.
Mid lane again. They're trying for this Torrent Amber Arrow combo, but they seem to miss it most times. Sumail will still go down though. Jerax is toggling off the aggro for the tower, so the OG get the kill. But yeah, No-Tail's just got be a little bit quicker off the mark with these arrows, kind of overestimating the stun duration of a Torrent, and then they're not connecting. But still 3-0 OG with the kills.
Yeah, getting the kill is still what's important, even if he kind of flubbed the arrow a little bit there. The thing is, this is like the second game, it feels like Zai's reactions are just like a half a second or a second too late most of the time. It was the same story in game number 1. You know, times where top lane, Arthur was getting dove and he didn't get a heal off or he didn't get a repel off in time, and it ends up costing the core his life. I don't know like what's necessarily going on or if he's not communicating properly with the rest of the team, but it seems like he's just been lagging a bit behind here in this series.
RTC needs to be a bit careful here as well. I mean, there's a fair bit of burst S4 and fly around. No support at the moment hanging around with him. In fact, No-Tail's going to spot Crit out here. Crit himself, he's not really got any way to get out of this, especially with Fly coming across. Crit, it's going to be a free kill here for No-Tail on the Mirana. And now RTZ left on his own. Samael will come across, look towards No-Tail, who leaps away for a bit of a chase down, a little bit of an arrow. He's going to go for the TP back to base. Does Samael have the damage yet? With the purification from Zai, they do. So EG getting themselves on the board with the kill.
I think he would have actually just had a straight up better chance of living by walking away. I mean, obviously after the fact when seeing the Ami heal, but I just mean in general. Top again.
Yeah, Universe trying to go in, looking for the spins, but Jerax hits the X mark into the torrent. Gotta be a little bit careful about these spins, but it's not going to be enough to find anything in return. OG take down Universe with no cost at all, apart from the bottom lane. So EG this time, they see the opening, they go for a trade, and they are successful in getting it. So they find S4 on the Sand King in return.
I mean, the nice thing for EG there is they did end up buying out on Universe before he died, so he didn't really lose any money for that. Granted, his Blink Dagger timing is probably not going to be quite as fast as he would like it to be, but he didn't really get any economical damage dealt to him. Oh, Crit.
Oh, Crit. I mean, we've talked up this man's Aya performance, but this series, and this game in particular, getting caught out of place a couple of times, and just free gold to the side of OG. So, I mean, Jerax, he's been having a great game on the Kunkka. 2-1-3, involved in 5 of the 6 kills, and just constantly making his presence being felt by EG across the map.
Yeah, the way that they're rotating around the map, it's kind of what we were saying. They are the ones who need to make the moves, and S4 looking to make a move of his own.
And just the tip. It's enough to catch RTZ. RTZ trying to turn, but the X mark, the tor's going to be there. They actually lose S4, and in fact, with the Enrage, RTZ, he's able to turn it around onto one. He wants to find Jerax as well. The Moonlight's going to be there. Do they have detection? They do. A sentry is dropped down. Jerax to be taken as well. Fly turning up, looking for some kind of kill in return, but he has to be careful. Moonlight, in fact, it's going to run out in a second or two. No-Tail throws an arrow back, but it's going to be juked out. Now, let's see if they can chase this one down. RTZ, he's hungry. He's angry. And he is going to look to try for Fly. He's going deep. Crit's going to back him up. They'll close the gap. TP now coming through. The disarm will be there onto Artur, so we can't find anything else. And Crit, oh, again, he's going to get punished for this. OG, take down Crit. This time Crit can kind of put the blame onto Artur, who was going in very aggressive. But EG, they do find those 2 kills on the Fuzzy Wuzzy, which is exactly what RTZ needed to bring himself in. But again, costing Crit his life as RTZ looks for more, and he just can't quite get it, chasing down Fly and the Oracle. It's always going to be hard with the potential for Fly to just turn around and drop a disarm.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's really frustrating about playing against Oracle. You kind of need a savior in Rage for stuff like that. But he used it bottom to make sure that he secured the kill on S4 and also didn't die to the Torrent. I think one of the other things too is you really want a Windlace on this hero, on Ursa, I feel. Especially if you're going to have that IO, because you just get the extra bonus out of it, the tether movement speed on top of having phase. Just makes you incredibly fast, and you can just run pretty much anybody down. But either way, you know, EG is still making the favorable trade, getting the 2-for-1.
And we can see on the net worth for the moment, it's very, very close, but the 3 kills of EG just slightly sitting ahead. Jerax eyes onto RTZ. In fact, whoa, okay, Samael, he just picked up the armor. It looks like he TP'd bottom, jumped on S4, and found us a quick kill onto the Sand King. And action still going up top. Jerax going to go for the TP. Are they going to make it? Oh, gee! Only just Jerax getting away.
No-Tail
Samael, hey, he finds himself the solo kill on S4. No-Tail, actually not going to be chased down. Samael a little too low. Not quite sure if anything. Wait, did have the ward vision down around the tier 1, but just playing it safe.
I think it was more that he didn't think he was gonna get the kill.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about him dying, it's more about he's juking in the trees, low probability that I'm gonna get him. But yeah, EG playing objective gaming here, got the safe lane tier 1, now applying some pressure to the middle lane. Once these towers drop, it's going to be imperative for OG. You know, they want S4's blink timing to be coming relatively soon. I mean, yeah, he's died a few times, but once he gets that, they can actually look to fight around the Roche pit, because this Ursa is looking to kill that Roche as soon as humanly possible, and then use that Aegis to get more and more objectives.
But as you said, EG going to find another tower from the side of OG, falling low already. OG,
oh, this sentry.
moonlighted.
This sentry.
Yep.
That is a feels bad man moment when you watch this replay.
EG
They just
well
saw
aware.
everything.
Yeah, no, OG realise. Just out of range as well of their own sentry that OG have dropped.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. OG definitely feeling the pressure here in this early game. I mean, it looks really close on paper in terms of like net worth and stuff, but you have to realize that Ana has a ring of health and shreds. Like, he's not going to be contributing a whole heck of a lot to team fights for quite a while. And you have to worry about, like, Ursa killing Roshan, the Blink Dagger now being revealed on the Axe, you know, Omni Knight's got his level 3 Purification, almost level 4. Just the amount of work that EG's lineup is going to be able to do in, like, the next 10 to 15 minutes is insane. And OG need to be able to stem that tide if they want to stay in the game. And a lot of that's going to be down to, again, Blink Dagger on the Sand King, Moonlight Shadow initiations, finding picks, you know, delaying it as long as you can. Because once the Morph gets to like a late game stage, I'd say that OG have a pretty good shot of winning. But up until that point, EG clearly had the advantage with the heroes.
Yeah, it just feels like RTC's been able to do a lot more on the Ursa compared to the PA. You know, at this early on stage, he doesn't need to rely on kind of having the burst from Zai's Purification. He can take down heroes on his own, thanks to those swipes. And 3 kills in the bag. As you said, with the blinks online, you can certainly continue to look for more action mid lane. She's got Zai smoked up behind some in case anyone from the side of OG wanted to have a go. Universe has got eyes on Ana. Do they have the lockdown and the damage to deal with him? Looks like they want to go elsewhere.
That's a really hard kill.
Yeah, they want to get one of these kills mid. No Tail and Flight moving close together. They'll get the call onto No Tail. But he did manage to get the leap off as well. So just far enough away to keep himself safe.
Are they just gonna go straight Roshan? I feel like... Oh, they don't have Ursa. Never mind. If they had Artur, I think they would just kill Rosh.
It's easy just being watched at the moment by Jarax. Bottom lane, S4. Very close to his Blink Dagger. Universe is there, and S4, yeah, he could be set back a little bit here. And he will be indeed set back just about, I think it's about a couple of 100 gold placed back, but it is important that he does find that timing on the Blink. They need him for these fights. So good clean pick off from EG. 6 to 7, and I mean already this game is just looking to come together much more nicely for EG than game 1, which fell apart pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean it's again going back to winning the lanes was so important for EG in game 1 because they were on a timer. But this time around it's not really as bad. And nice from him. He did create a little bit of space there, drawing 4 heroes of EG to the top lane. But I'm not sure. I mean, OG can obviously still win the game. They just really, really need the Morph to come online. And obviously getting things like Aghanims on No Tail is going to help a lot as well. You start to deal a tremendous amount of magical damage. And EG still have yet to secure a single Rosh, which is actually really good for OG. And one of the advantages of being dire is that your tier 1 in the off lane still being alive means that you can react to Roshan very, very quickly. And I think that's part of the reason why EG have opted to not try, even though S4 hasn't shown that he has a Blink. And, you know, we know obviously that he doesn't have one yet. But with that ward, they probably also saw it.
They're very, very close now again. S4 to that. But yeah, EG just swarming themselves around the map, ready to take a fight. You know, Samael and RTZ both in very good places to jump down and just absolutely chunk a hero of OG to pieces. Roshan is there. RTZ is going to look to it. No life steal on him at the moment, but he can take it down pretty quick.
And he can kill it, yeah.
Question is, do OG get themselves over here to stop it? S4, very hesitant to fight with the fact that he is so close to that Blink. And looks like just the speed that EG are able to do this, it's not going to allow OG any time to react. So they will get away with that Rosh, and this, of course, is going to maintain a very nice position that EG's managed to find themselves in now. And we can see, yeah, top of the net worth, the two of them. It is still very, very close. But EG, they can pack a lot of punch if they find these fights at this timing. And that's what they want to do. Look top.
Oh, this is a big pick.
He's got backup coming in though. S4, looking for the Epi, but the call from Universe to stop the Epi going off. S4 will be saved, but Universe with that play may have just saved Arteezy's life. Arteezy will come forward, but Fly, he TP's out. Universe just in time with the call.
Yeah, that was really nice. Losing that Ursa would have been bad. I think, honestly, the only thing that EG really need to do is group up and push towers. Like, I mean, having relocate ganks and whatnot is always going to be nice, but you don't really have the heroes to abuse the vision. I think this time around, instead of the IO being that map presence that you have to worry about, it's just about enabling Sumail to be able to hit towers. Like, that's what you really want. Having the overcharge, the bonus attack speed, the damage mitigation, and whatnot, and more or less being able to go ham.
And, oh, actually, mid lane. Let's watch that. Sumail's just jumped in onto Jerax. Fly. Turns around with a bit of a hold. S4 coming in with a burst strike into the arrow. Sumail has got the Aegis. So we'll be back for round 2. The question is, can OG do anything about him? They don't have Ana. Ana continuing to put the pressure down on the bottom lane. Universe coming across. RTG's there as well. Take down Jerax. Ambrose out for the count. Ana finds the trade though. Manages to find a tier 2 down bottom. The fight may not be over yet though. S4 getting himself away. Blinks off cooldown, so he'll be fine. Tier 2 in the mid lane may not be though. As EG looking to find that one. Ana, he is knocking on their doorstep. Do we have TPs? We do, so they can back up for this defense. In fact, they're going to look straight for Ana. Ana goes deep, and he goes out. Ana just forcing EG to back. At the same time, though, EG did take the fight mid. They found the kill onto No Tail. BP back now will mean they can't find anything more. S4 has Epicenter up very, very shortly. So Ana forces them back, but they do still lose No Tail on the Mirana in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's about as good as you could have expected to go, I guess, for OG. Maybe losing the Mirana wasn't necessary, but you still got the Aegis off of Sumail, which means that pushing in the objectives now for EG is going to be a bit harder. Really, if you're OG, you're only looking to delay their progression and just make sure that you're keeping at least some tier 2s alive, prevent them from hitting, you know, high ground tier 3s and whatnot, because that's when it starts to really, really get scary. But having the Sand King, the inevitability of the Morph coming online, and No Tail getting closer and closer to Aghanims, all these things are going to help a lot, because No Tail will be able to push waves. Ana's obviously going to get to the E-Blade or the Lincoln, whichever choice he opts for. And then you're going to have a lot more teamfight potential to be able to bring it to EG instead of having to play this waiting game.
Oh, Universe goes with the call. Playmail's there as well, and pulling low. He has got the strength hold, but he's already managed to obviously come over here by jumping to the illusion. So can he get out? He can. TP's there. And this is one of the things about EG's lineup. They have not got a lot at all to cancel TPs. Pretty much just the Berserker's call on his own. That's it. So TPs are pretty much the aim of the game here for OG. And I guess one of the reasons as well why this makes it such a good draft for Ana to be playing the Morphling in.
Yeah, the 4th pick Morphling was amazing because it's so difficult to kill the hero in general, and EG have no natural counters to it. The only thing about their lineup that's good against Morph is they hit their timing before the Morphling does typically. And then you just end the game before Ana becomes a threat. But OG still managing to hold them off for a good amount of time. The later it goes, the harder it's going to be for EG to actually end this. So, we talked about the importance of Roshan and being able to snowball. There's going to be even more emphasis on the next Rosh, and then the Rosh after that. Because if EG don't start getting some real damage done...
It's easy, he's going ham, and it's onto an illusion. I realize that now. They do find the tier 2 though, EG. What do they want to go for next? They've got a tier 1 and a tier 2 to look to take from the bottom lane. And we've got S4 hanging around at the moment. He's nearly hit level 11. And has got a TP, so he'll be able to get that from this wave, get back. Still obviously a fair bit of time before Roshan will be back up for round 2. EG, seeing if they can find anything. Jerax X's himself, comes across, looks to get a bit of intel, seeing if he can spot anyone out. EG will just maintain their position, tank up the tier 1, take that away from the side. S4's going to stay down on the bottom lane, maybe see if anyone comes out to clear this wave as support, so see if he can find a solo kill with an epi. EG take the tower. Net worth-wise, it is EG with the lead, but only just. This game very, very close at this stage.
It's still very, very dependent on who takes the better fight, or if OG can delay the game. I think it's gonna continually get more difficult for EG though. Their heroes are not really.
Bottom lane, S4.
Very nice escape. Yeah,
he was spotted out there. They kind of blinked across each other. Universe still hunting, but it realizes the Sand King's out. RTZ. Spotted out by No Tail. I mean, No Tail has the Axe. He's got a fair bit of burst.
He might be able to kill him.
If he lets the Ancients do some damage first. I mean, Jerax is there in range with a Torrent. Yeah, oh, and S4's turned up as well. Jumping in onto RTZ. He'll pop the range though. And No Tail didn't quite have the follow-through lockdown. And now Universe with the call onto No Tail. EG turning up in style as Sumail's relocated in by crit. And they punish hard there. Unable to kill RTZ. I mean, it's if you can't stop him from getting that enrage off, then you're not likely to kill him. And there's going to be the chance for this kind of turnaround. They've got to be careful of that. And Ana, what a buyer call the dog. Perfect from Universe. big kills for EG Fly. He will get himself out. S4 still hanging around here. He has got an epicenter. Is he going to go for something cheeky? Ooh, that call must have just been out of range. Nearly catching out S4 there. But S4 will survive, but Universe getting himself a nice double kill. And in fact, he's continuing to chase down S4. He's got a call. S4 has a TP, so he can opt to TP straight out. But in fact, well, with these creeps here, there's going to be a chance for a lot of damage to come out from Universe. Not quite enough. S4 blinks out. RTZ's there. Let's see if RT... Oh! That cheeky bash and RTZ. He's been stuck on the wrong side of a tree in the past, and it's happened again. Couldn't quite find him.
I don't think you could actually fit another hero in that space, though. I think that's why he blinked at that particular location. Because there are some spots in the woods where there's just only room for one hero. So he could have clicked in the right spot and just got put somewhere else. But yeah, really nice picks coming in from EG. I really thought that they were going to kill Artor, but I guess the Starstorm just didn't come fast enough. Because, you know, there's a delay between the next one and No-Tail.
He's just going to have the leap out. Ooh, RTZ. Couldn't find the bash in time. So, No-Tail is out. I mean, this is obviously a big deal for EG in terms of controlling Roshan, making sure that they can get that on their side again for either Sumail or RTZ. I mean, Sumail, of course, at this stage, looking very good on the Huskar, 10,500 net worth, and the items more than there for him to do the damage at this stage of the game. So, EG have all the tools.
You typically want to give the Aegis to the hero that's going to hit the tower, especially when you have a lineup that needs to end the game.
Hotel, he leapt into this, and EG... They have Universe there with the counter. And an interesting pickup as well. I kind of like this. Universe going for the Shadow Blade this game. So he has that extra method of just closing in and getting the chance to jump in for these big calls. And what? Artor, Babor finds himself a Fly. This time Fly's disarm isn't going to do much as RTZ had the Enrage available. So EG 12-7, looking very good at the moment in game 2. And yeah, Universe, he's having a good as game as we saw pretty much Velo have in that series earlier. He's doing very well for himself.
Yeah, I love the Shadow Blade choice as well, because he realizes he's basically the only form of initiation on this team. So he needs to be able to get in at pretty much any point, and they are not going to expect this.
I mean, if he gets a call and RTZ's there to follow through, the damage is going to be there every time. RTZ Universe can just, as a duo, kill whoever they want on the map. Maybe not Ana, unless you know he gets lucky with the spins and gets a good dunk. But the pick-off potential is massive.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about Morphling right now, and honestly, I'm unsure about the choice of just going for the Dragon Lance in this situation, because it delays your E-Blade timing and your Linken's timing. And really, you want, you know, probably in this game, I guess, you want the E-Blade a little bit faster because you need to be able to fight with your team. But because he decided to go for the Dragon Lance, and he still doesn't even have his Linken's done, and it's almost 24 minutes in, that gives EG a lot of breathing room, because Morphling's not going to be scary with just a Dragon Lance and a Linken's. He's not going to be scary until he has his third item. And the third item is not going to come out until, what, like 35 plus minutes at this stage? It's taking too long for Ana to come online, if you want to compare it to like game 1 where he was just kind of crushing the whole time. Sure, it's OD versus Morphling, and you would expect that. But him not having that kind of influence, or maybe I guess it would be more fair to say that No-Tail's not really having the same influence.
No-Tail!
Nice.
As you mentioned, he gets the stun. Crit coming across, has got the relocate. He's actually not using it for the time being. Wants to keep Sumail around because they want to fight this. Jumps in onto Ana. Ana gets himself out to the illusion. Did you find anything else in return? And it was enough damage. Ana ends up still going down to the burn after Fly's false promise wears out. And EG, they'll look to punish the Oracle himself as well. Getting another. And EG, they really are pulling it together here in game 2. Game 1 was pretty much nothing less than a shambles, but here they're looking like the well-coordinated team that they need to against OG and at Roshan as well. This is strength to strength for EG at this stage of the game. 24 minutes in, the network's going to skyrocket pretty high, probably around the 10k lead at this point. And you know, this is a lineup with the Huskar in, and as you said at the start, Andy, if this Huskar gets ahead, which he certainly is, OG, they're going to struggle to buy the time to be able to get to the point where they can deal with him.
I don't think they ever will at this rate. Like, it's becoming too much. Like, the Morphling died again, still no Linken's. It's going to be like 30 minutes before he finishes an item at this rate. It's just simply taking too long. Like, the Morphling pick seemed really good because it's just difficult for EG to kill him. But you don't have to kill the Morphling if you can kill the rest of his team and take the entire map away. So by having the Husker and the Ursa together, it allows you to play objective-based gaming. It allows you to secure Roshan. And, I mean, more than anything else, you end the game.
Oh, Notel. A little bit of an awkward leap here. I mean, now he's got Crit and Arteezy to deal with. Notel, with no leap out, he's gone. Notel Mirana has certainly kind of failed to perform in a few of the situations this game. And, I mean, okay, Universe just solo killing whoever he wants. Finds S4 on his own in the jungle, and meanwhile EG with 2 heroes down on OG, they know that they can just go up to the high ground. Arteezy jumping in, gets the bash onto Jerax. He's going to head over, wait for the X marks back. Arteezy just pounding the ground. Bam! Can he go for this one? Fly and Ana are there to hold him back. Looks to be enough, so he can't finish off Jerax, but just creating space for Sumail to hit there, pound into the towers. The tier 3's down, the Rex are exposed, and Arteezy just racing across the base. He wants that Admiral. Looks like he can't quite chase down Jerax though, but it really is just zoning OG back, allowing EG to find themselves the Meliarax from bottom. They'll move over towards mid. OG will have the full 5-man up. They need somebody to use. They need a massive epicenter or something. And Arteezy just jumping behind tier 4s. Arteezy, I mean, he's got the enrage. He knows he's okay, but incredibly ballsy play. But it's doing what it needs to, giving space for Sumail. Tier 3 falling very, very quick, very fast. He has Aegis. Can't do anything big with this. The epicenter on the backlines. S4! He caught 2! S4 takes down 2 immediately. Sumail now. He needs help. Universe is going to come in. There'll be a buyback from Crit. Can they recover this EG? Coming through again. S4 with the Burrow Strike. The Moonlight Shadows. A buyback from Fly. Now with a buyback from Arteezy as well. EG just coming straight back in. Crit relocated in to allow the pressure to continue. So even though S4 hits a nice 2-man epi, GG is going to be called. EG have done it. They managed to bring the series to a game 3. And this is, I mean, this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see some equal fights from both sides. We wanted a game 3. We're going to get it. But, I mean, which way it's going to go, I don't know, Andy. Because we saw in game 1, OG dominate EG. Game 2, pretty much the same in reverse. Arguably not as heavy. But EG at that point, the draft was perfect. The Huskar pick was ideal. And they punished that Morphling so hard. Ana just didn't get a word in the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily on him as much. I think it's more like a 4 Protect 1 that OG were running this game, right? Because even though the Mirana gets a lot of farm priority, you're really looking for these heroes to be the ones, you know, taking the fights and trying to stop EG from just taking all of your outer tier towers. Morph doesn't really offer anything until he has E-Bleed. Like, that's the one item where you're just like, ah, okay, the Morphling's actually a threat now, guys. We have to worry about him. But the game lasted, what, a little bit over 30, or no, under 30 minutes. I think it was like 27, 28 minutes. And he never got to that point. So that's why I was saying I kind of favored EG's draft, because they have Ursa Huskar, and they have 2 heroes that also enable the Ursa and Huskar to do what they do, which is Omni and Io. They just had a very like synergistic draft. They knew what their timing was. They just took fights, they won the fights, and they ended the game. It was very textbook how usual Huskar lineups are supposed to function. But I would say that OG had a chance to win if they didn't get picked off so much around the 20 to 25 minute mark, because it seemed like a chain reaction, right? They lose one hero at some part in the map, they lose, you know, S4 randomly to Universe in the top lane, and it just seemed like that was happening a lot more than it should have. And then as soon as you have a lineup where it's going to hit this mid-game timing, and you're getting picked off, you just instantly lose. That's it. The game's just over. And
you can see that just from the pace of the game and the GPM as well. You know, obviously, it wasn't great for Ana. You know, sub 400 GPM. Not ideal, but that was just because of the way that EG played the game. I mean, you look at their cores, I mean, 600 GPM, it's not the most crazy stat, but, you know, it was just because it was all fighting. And when you look at the 2 drafts, one against each other, it's pretty much always going to be EG's lineup that's just going to do best in these fights with, you know, less requirement of certain items. And as we saw, you know, Ana fell behind. You know, No Tail, you just didn't really feel the impact of the Mirana. S4, at the end, Jay had a nice bit of a play, but other than that, there just wasn't the chance for him to get things going. And yeah, game 3, I mean, from what you've seen here today so far in this series, would you say there is a stronger side between these 2?
I actually think that OG have shown that I felt like they played better overall. Yeah. But I think that EG's drafts have been a little bit off the wall, and maybe that's why I'm kind of leaning towards OG a bit. But I mean, it's so close. I think that either team can honestly take it. But if I had to say, I would say OG, just because I feel like they have been playing a little bit, I guess, smoother Dota.
Okay, fair enough. Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere, because we will have Game 3 between EG and OG very, very shortly around the corner. They may have a short break for the teams because it's going to Game 3, but either way, it should be very, very, very quickly that we get that on, as it's been running very smoothly here. So don't go anywhere. Game 3 between EG and OG coming next.